Hello, it's Marina J here. How are you feeling today? So I have a question for you. It's something I see with a lot of my clients who have had narcissistic abuse. In fact, it's pretty much constant. So I'm curious if this is something for you too. Do you live as if you can't fully relax in the moment because there's an underlying sense that something or somebody is going to take away your energy, your time, or something from you to bring you back down? So you can't fully relax. There's that feeling of at any moment in time, somebody will just come into my world and I won't be able to do the things I want to do. I won't be able to feel good. Somebody will take away something at some point. Is that you? I want to hear below, right? Is that you? And so what I see with people that have had narcissistic abuse, I call it you living in defense. If you're somebody that grew up in an environment where your good feelings, your good emotions, your energy were taken away from you, probably on a regular basis. You couldn't have anything for very long, or you couldn't have a good mood for very long, or you couldn't have good fortune for very long before it just got annihilated by the narcissist, crushed by the narcissist, taken away by the narcissist. Right? So let's say that you were little, you did really well at school, or you were on stage, and then you felt really great, but then they say something or they do something and boom, it goes. When we've grown up with that, as adults, we can live as if the other shoe could drop at any time, because that's what we used to. And so even though we can have created stability for ourselves, there's that underlying feeling of, but it could get taken away tomorrow. And so there's still that feeling of instability inside of us, so that no matter how stable things are, that could be physically, emotionally, financially, for example, stable, there's that feeling that it could just be taken away in a second. Somebody could just walk in and take it. And sometimes they have, right? But notice if that feeling in you is near constant. It's like a low running record. And if you're feeling that, notice, does that kind of give you anxiety? Do you feel tight in your solar plexus? Does your tummy always feel tight? Or does it always feel like you've constantly got anxiety or like butterflies in your stomach? Because it's almost that feeling of, when is the other shoe going to drop? And what with my clients, one of the things that I see is when their lives start to go really, really well, they just, for a portion of time before we clear it and heal it, feel like the bubble's going to burst. Because guess what? It always did. As a child, the bubble was always burst by the abusive person. So now it's that feeling of, I can't hold and keep for very long, because something will go wrong, something will go unsuccessful, it won't go right. So particularly people in business, if you run your own business, and I see that a lot with my clients, is notice for you, is there always that feeling of, my clients are going to leave me, or suddenly someone's, you look in your inbox and you always kind of go, is somebody going to write me a bad email? Is somebody going to leave me a bad comment on my Instagram or my YouTube or my Facebook, right? Wherever I'm posting, do I kind of slightly hold on? And then as soon as I see that a comment is good, I'm like, I can just relax, right? That feeling that at any time your stability could get annihilated is part of the healing that needs to take place in you after narcissistic abuse. Because that pattern was setting you to almost have that expectation. And in my experience with my clients, what happens with that is that you end up living your life in defense. You live your life trying to mitigate loss, trying to mitigate risk, trying to do everything in your power to overgive, say, for example, to your clients, to friends, to people, so they don't get angry with you, hate you, reject you, come and complain to you, attack you. And so your whole life is spent just kind of living in defense, right? So I call this is part of a narcissistic template. And I call it that because it's almost like that's the template you had around you as a child. And now as an adult, notice if there's still that level of anxiety in you that's like, you know what, at any point in time, the shoe could just drop. I could lose everything, or I could lose this. Now, a great thing to do is to write down all of your fears when that happens. And next to it, can you write, is that fact or fiction? And what you'll start to see is the things, the programs, the beliefs that need to heal. Because if you start writing fiction, and you will, right? You'll start to go, oh my God, that's fiction, that's fiction, that's fiction, and that's definitely fiction, right? You start to look at it and you might start to ask yourself, okay, what beliefs am I running, right, to be thinking like this? And then the belief might be that, you know, good things don't last. Okay, I'm going to go clear that. So imagine you're going to go clear that, right? You might have a belief that says, I'm not good enough. So there's always that feeling that at some point, someone's going to complain about you. They're going to call you out. They're going to, whatever it is. And so that feeling, what we want in you is to now have a feeling of stability in you that you create. So it doesn't matter what somebody says or what somebody does. You've already decided that you're always going to be all right, that you can trust yourself, that if you were to bank money, if you were to bet money, you'd bet money on you, because you know that you've got your back and you know that you've got what it takes to live an incredible life this lifetime. And so you move then, instead of from living in defense, you live in creation. You live in creation, right? Because for somebody like you, who's incredibly powerful, because remember, narcissists go after the brightest bulb in the room, right? For someone like you, it's super important for you to move out of living in defense and into creation. And that is the healing journey. So if you want to do some healing around this, I have a free Facebook group that you can join. I also have courses that you can take that will really move you out of living in defense and coming into creation, right? Because you don't need to carry that fear in you anymore, that something will get taken away from you, the good feelings will end, the good times will end. That's a really awful way to live. And you deserve to know that you are bigger than anything that comes your way. And that, my friend, is truth. I hope this really, really supports you. Loads of love. Bye.